your child is starting to fall apart more and more as fall routines are starting and the schedule at your house is changing, I want you to actually count something that you probably wouldn't think about, and that is the amount of transitions they're going through a day. When parents look at children's schedules, we tend to look at the amount of activities that we've scheduled them for. So you have your school day, and then you have things like a sports lesson, sport games, youth group activities, music lessons, those kind of things. Lots and lots of parents ask, are we doing too much? Which is a super reasonable question to ask. But I think that there's a better question to ask. How many times is my child having to stop one thing and start another? Because those are not the same question. Walk through a completely ordinary afternoon for your child. Here's how it goes. Ready? They end school. They have to transition from school to a car or the bus to get home. That's number one. Transition two is getting out of the car or the bus and getting into home. That's number two. Transition three, home mode is now taking place of school mode. Transition four, now they have to transition to having a snack. Transition five, after snack, they have to get back into brain mode for homework. Transition six, now you're getting ready for soccer practice. Transition seven, now you're going from home mode into the car again. Transition eight, car onto the soccer field. Transition nine, from the soccer field back to the car. Transition 10, car back into home. Transition 11, home, now it's dinner time. Transition 12, dinner to shower. Transition 13, shower to pajamas. Transition 14, whatever they're doing, now it's bedtime. Now, as a parent, you can say, hold up. It's not that my kid had school and soccer today. It's a kid whose brain might have had to change gears 14 times just since school ended. It's important to know that a transition for your child, for any of us, is not just physically moving from point A to point B. Every time there's a transition, the brain has a whole bunch of steps that it has to go through. It has to disengage from the activity that just ended, shift attention to the new activity that's coming up, deal with the emotions that come with that. Possibly the task is not finished. Maybe you were really enjoying it. Organize in the brain whatever is coming next. That includes holding the new expectations for that activity in mind, and then initiate the actual next thing. Some kids can do this almost totally invisibly. Other kids, and a lot of neurodivergent kids fall into this category, pay a transition tax every time they have to change gears. By 7:30 bedtime, even though we as parents think that they've had school and soccer practice and just an after-school routine of dinner and a shower, they're completely taxed out. But there's an important distinction to make here as well, okay? So don't drift into the thoughts of transitions are all bad. That's not what this is. You don't want to remove all transitions. That's not realistic. Kids have to be flexible, and life does require transitions quite frequently. But the thing to notice is that if you're stacking transition upon transition upon transition, and then you're interpreting the resulting behavior as a character flaw, that's not the same thing. So you might find yourself, you're at shower time and your kid is now losing it. Well, it's not necessarily because they don't want to get in the shower and wash off. The shower just might be the final thing after gear change number 13 that causes the meltdown. So now, once you recognize this, you can change how you approach it. You can get pretty practical about it. So you don't necessarily have to reduce the amount of activities, but you can reduce the friction between transitions for those activities. Examples of this would be keep snacks in the car. Or when they get home, all they're doing is putting their backpack on the hook and we're dealing with the backpack after soccer practice. Maybe they've put their soccer stuff out before the start of school so that it's ready to go and they don't have to pick out their clothes. Maybe you have a rule that on soccer nights, homework gets pushed to tomorrow morning at breakfast. Or showers are going to happen in the morning. Although, if you have an older child, you probably don't want to put this rule in place because they will take you up on it and they are stanky after sports activities. And the thing is that you're not going to be able to remove all transitions that need to happen. I mean, wouldn't that be lovely if we could? But you can make them much more predictable. So you can tell them 10 more minutes until we leave for soccer practice, or as you're driving home from soccer practice, after dinner, we're doing shower and then couch time, a short TV show, and then it's bedtime. And you can put in place a bunch of stuff that I've mentioned in previous videos. So things like visual schedules, using the same order for activities or transitions every single time, providing your child with a transition object so that they're more comfortable in those transition periods, using specific music to signify a transition that's happening, and even something like 5 minutes of no expectations, nothing once you get home. Here's the kicker is that sometimes we expect our kids to handle something better when actually what we maybe should think about is, have we made something unnecessarily hard for them to handle? Is it harder for them than it actually needs to be? And that doesn't mean that we're never teaching the skill. It means we're going to assess the environment first, help with the skill second, and judgment comes last. Now it's time to put insight into action. Tonight, don't count your child's activities, count the transitions they had to go through. You can pick the hardest part of the day and trace it backwards. How many times did your child have to change gears in the hour or two before things went sideways? And then ask yourself, is there something that I can eliminate? Is there a way I can combine two transitions? Can I make one more predictable? Can I make something easier? That's it. That's enough. You don't have to change your entire afternoon schedule. And you for sure don't have to eliminate all activities that your child is in. Just take some transition taxes off your child and see if that helps. Give this a try and let us know in the comments how many activities your child is in, how many transitions you've identified, and how you've removed some of those transition taxes.